Christina. Allora, good afternoon everybody, thank you for listening. It's a real pleasure to be here. Today we have two wonderful guests. We're going to actually help you to buy lots of houses. Joyce, you've got to listen to this. And we're going to also help you to pay off your mortgage in half the time. How wonderful would that be? All right, a minute to go.
Ok,
All right, close
allora
it.
lei questa è lei?
Come?
1 minuto.
Yeah.
Non so disgiuntivo.
This one? Which one?
Hang on. That one has got a longer cord. We're going to rearrange.
Ready?
That's better.
Peter and Michael. Come spend some time with us, folks. We're sharing tools and techniques on how to look at life in a better way
Good.
and how to get better outcomes. Ciao!
Ready? Michael, and
Yep. Hello everybody, buon pomeriggio a tutti, grazie per il vostro ascolto, mi fa tanto piacere di essere qui. Oggi abbiamo due wonderful guests. Allora, fra poco vi introduce the guest. Grazie a Joyce che sta sempre con noi qui, perché senza di lui non si può fare niente. Allora, oggi se volete telefonarmi, per favore telefonarmi nello studio è 82123599. Aspetto le vostre telefonate. Come avete sentito la settimana scorsa, sto solo qui dentro con tutti i miei amici. Allora, oggi abbiamo George e abbiamo la sua moglie Christina. Allora, good afternoon everybody, thank you for listening. It's a real pleasure to be here. Today we have two wonderful guests. We're going to actually help you to buy lots of houses. Joyce, you've got to listen to this. And we're going to also help you to pay off your mortgage in half the time. How wonderful would that be? So what we're going to do, we're going to introduce George and his lovely wife Christina. So George, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, very well.
Come stai?
Come stai? Bravo, bravo. And Christina.
Hello, hi, thank you so much for having us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Christina, get in as close as you can to the microphone, especially that one there, and to talk right into it when you're talking, and we'll be able to hear you very well, and the people out there will be able to hear you well.
Testing.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
better?
beautiful.
Much better, yes.
I
Much
was just
better.
saying thank you for having us today.
That's good, that's good. So George, tell us about your business. So what's the name of the business?
Okay, the name of the business is Positive Property Solutions Australia,
Okay,
right? But basically, short, we call ourselves Positive Property.
yep,
And I suppose I started this business probably about 5 years ago.
right,
And what happened was, I'll tell you the story from the beginning.
Yes.
I guess I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and my parents struggled to make ends meet.
yes.
So I knew from a young age if it was meant to be, it was up to me to make it happen.
Oh, that's good.
I couldn't actually rely on getting a big inheritance or
Yes.
anything else like that. And so what I chose to do is, I suppose I chose to get involved in property. So I thought property was my only chance, because 90% of the world's millionaires
Yes.
are made by property.
Yes, that's true.
So I thought that's and have you heard of that thing called safe as Bitcoin?
No.
Or safe as shares?
Yeah,
No,
no.
but what's it called? It's
Yeah, safe as houses.
That's right.
Everybody says safe as houses.
that's exactly
It's as
right.
safe
So I
as houses.
decided
Yeah.
to stick to property.
Oh, good on you. So basically what you've done in your business, you've started to grow your business by buying homes and developing them, or you tell us about your business and how it works.
Okay.
What's your model of the plan? Because I want all the listeners today to listen to this, because of the fact is that there are a lot of young men out there and a lot of young women out there who are thinking, oh my God, I'll never have a house, or I'll never have a house. But you're telling me that you can show people how to have 10 houses in 10 years.
That's the program, yes.
Agreed.
Yeah. And the reason I do 10 houses in 10 years is because that's what I originally did myself.
Right.
So when I first started, I made all normal mistakes, and I was very frustrated that I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And I had a choice. I had two doors. One door was give up property.
Yep.
But if you quit, you're guaranteed to lose, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
quitters don't win.
no one became a success through quitting.
Yep.
So I knew that wasn't an option for me. So
Right.
the second door was to work this property thing out and make money in a cool way. Luckily, I chose door number 2.
Yeah.
And
Door number 1 on the right, door number left
that's
on the right.
And I guess what happened was I made the multi-million-dollar decision. It was actually 3 decisions. The first decision was work out this property thing and
Right.
really work out what's happening. 2, I decided to ignore everyone else giving property advice.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people out there super hypey, they didn't have the results themselves.
Yes.
And they weren't getting the results. So really, the third one was I wanted to find mentors that actually had
Now, that's the important part. I mean, you just said it. There's a lot of people out there spruiking, saying, "Oh, come and see us. We can do this. We can do that. I've done this. I've done that. Whatever." But they themselves don't have the running background, or don't have the money that they say that they've made, or whatever.
they don't have the results.
They don't have the results. That's right.
Why would I want to? It's a bit like this. If you're going to go to the gym,
Yeah.
you want something that's buff to
Yeah.
teach you because they've
Yeah.
done it themselves.
Yeah.
They teach you how to work out. the
Yeah,
gym.
like they say, go to a norm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
George actually, he walks his talk, so I think that's really important when you're looking for, results. You've got to find somebody who actually walks their talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
originally I wasn't planning on starting this business.
Right.
I was when I was 37, I retired on 10 properties,
Right,
and I was making 180,000 a year without getting out of bed,
right.
which is pretty cool.
Just from the rent.
Yeah, just
Good.
from the rent.
I can live on that.
I thought that was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
then a guy called Tim Ferriss, author of the 4-Hour Work Week, you may have
Yeah.
heard of him.
Yes, I know.
I was lucky to have dinner with him in Melbourne.
Yes.
And he's actually quite shy when you first meet him, but after a couple of wines, he loves his red wine. He actually opens up, and he's a fascinating guy, awesome guy, really good
Yeah.
guy. And he sort of said, George, you really need to find your purpose in life.
Yeah.
And he said, look, if you're really good at it, the world needs it, you get paid for it, and you love what you're doing,
Yes.
that's your purpose. And soon after that, I started Positive Property and started teaching people how to do what I'm doing.
Excellent, excellent. So, at what stage did you, Christina, come into this partnership?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
So basically, how I sort of met George was through a mutual friend at a birthday party one day, and
Right.
he told me he was working on this book, this project, and he heard that I did a degree in journalism, and he said, I really want someone to help me write this book, and that is
that was his
actually
excuse.
yeah. So we started
course.
catching up like on a regular basis, catching up for coffee every weekend, and working on his book Freedom Through Property,
Yeah.
which has now become an Amazon #1 bestseller.
Fantastic.
So that was a
Can't
great
talk to you about
result.
that.
Well, yes. So what happened was after I retired,
Yeah.
I flew to Bali. And I decided to write a book.
Yep.
So I'm not good at writing, but I'm
Yep.
good at talking.
Yes.
So what I did is I was on the beach to Bali for
Yep.
a week, having my cocktails and just recording my book.
Right.
And I paid someone to write it up for me.
Yes, yes,
But unfortunately, it just wasn't quite right.
yes.
So when
So
Christina,
like a ghostwriter.
yeah, a ghostwriter. So
Yeah.
when Christina actually redid the book,
Yeah.
it became a #1 bestseller. So
Yeah.
she did a great job. Thank you, Christina.
Thanks,
Yeah.
George. Yeah, well, I think
So-
everyone else is pretty happy with it too.
Yeah. So obviously one thing led to another, and you're a partnership now.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I started off just in customer service. Basically, I was obviously doing a lot of copywriting for the
Yeah.
business originally, helped George write the book, and then I started learning about it all through George. Like, he literally taught me how to invest in property. So
Right.
I was learning firsthand myself how to use these strategies and how to get, more cash flow, how to get more capital growth, and how to
Okay.
get more money through investing
Yeah.
in property.
Okay. So let's break it down. So I'm going to ask some very simple questions,
Yeah,
like I
go
said,
for
because there are people out there that would want to know, okay, where do I start? Do I have to have an income to start? Or do I have to have a high income to start? Or because a lot of people I talk to, and they all tell me, oh, I can't do it, I don't have an income, or
Yeah.
I haven't got enough money, or I haven't got, a steady job, or I haven't got a secure job. So for all those people out there that are listening now, and then all those that are going to come home and their mum and dad are going to say, hey, listen to Peter,
Yeah.
quick, let's ring him up.
yeah, so-
Give me a call. Like I said, these people, they often ring me during the week as well. I get a lot of calls during the week, not always here in the studio. They ring me and they say, look, you talked about this, what's this all about? And I get called like 2-3 weeks later, and I say, oh, hang on, that was like last month. So don't be surprised, we get calls much later.
Yep. So I suppose, look, to invest in property, you do need an income.
Right.
Okay, so we've got people that are on our program. We've got a mentorship program where we help people guide it through them.
Right.
And we've got people earning between 50,000
Yeah.
and 450,000.
Right.
Right. And if you've got a steady income and you're paying tax,
Yep.
this works well for you.
Okay.
If you're not paying tax and you don't have a steady income, it's not the right
That's not the
program
right-
for you.
Okay.
Yes,
So
it's important to
basically-
know if it's right for you or not.
Okay, so basically what we need to people who are 50,000 plus a year. I mean,
Yep.
if they were 30 or 40,000, it's not quite the same.
No, it's not-
because they don't.
not
It's not going to give
You're
them
not
the
going
tax
to get the
benefits.
benefit, yeah, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to
Yeah.
buy properties for around $30 to $50 a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, Christina, your last property. Christina.
Yeah, so my last investment property is actually costing me $14.50 a week, so that's nothing.
Yeah.
And how much has it gone up
But
in the last
it's
6 months?
gone up over $40,000 worth of capital growth.
Yeah. See,
Because of the
Which was pretty
location
cool.
and the timing.
Because see, property. One thing about property over the last 120 years in Australia, you look at the stats, and I love the numbers. So I'm a bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
Last 120 years, property's had a compounding of 9.2% growth.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
they double every 7 to 10 years.
Yes.
So it's a matter of property's not a quick game. So if you want to get rich quick, this
Don't buy
don't do property.
Unless
You're
you've
not-
got lots of, I mean, if you've got lots of money, then you don't need to buy property. You know.
No, you don't. But
You know,
it's not a get rich quick.
Yeah.
You really need. Property is all about time in the market and timing.
So really, when we talk about don't get rich quick, but if we look back now and say like 10 years ago,
Yep.
like it doesn't seem that long ago.
No,
No.
no.
I can remember all the publicity about the year 2000 and how the computers were going to crash and how this was going to happen and all that. And then I look back, that's 18 years ago.
Yeah, time goes
It
fast.
seems like only 5.
Yep.
So time goes so fast. So if somebody says, look, in 10 years, you're going to own 10 properties, that's something you should look at.
Oh, look, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean,
we've got over 220 members on
Yeah.
the program now.
Yep.
that
Yeah,
are-
so
that are-
I'm actually property coaching in the business now. So
Right.
I'm helping people and walking them through the investing process,
Right.
one-on-one,
Yep.
mentoring them and giving them the strategies to implement and to be able to make this a reality and actually get their goals through investing in property.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
I'm helping 2 to 3 people invest in property every single week.
Yeah.
So it can be done, and we're doing it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And like for example, we've got one young guy who's a truck driver who joined our program, and he had zero deposit,
Right.
but he was living with his parents, which was good, and earning
Yeah.
good money as
Yeah.
a truck driver. And now he's got 2 properties.
Wow.
And quite a bit of money in an offset account. So
Yeah.
he's done really well.
So the other thing is, I was going to ask you about, like you mentioned, the offset account.
Yep.
And you also mentioned earlier about paying your mortgage off faster.
Yes, yes.
So if somebody just wants to pay their mortgage off faster,
Yep.
what's the idea? Or, I mean, you don't need to be earning lots of money to pay off your mortgage
No,
faster. You
not at
just
all.
need to be putting it in the right account. Is that right?
Yes, so basically, my parents did it the hard way, the old way.
Yep.
Where what they did is they had a 25-year mortgage.
Right.
They worked hard, didn't go out for dinners,
Yeah.
saved money, and paid extra off the mortgage. as
They
much
were
as
old
could.
school.
Well,
And-
that's what
And that's
people
what
know.
most people do.
Old
but
school mentality.
the
Yeah,
problem-
that's all people know. I mean,
Yeah.
out there, and people I talk to all the time, they've got a 30-year mortgage,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and that's
well,
it.
let's face it, Peter, you don't get taught this stuff at school, do you?
No, that's what I was just saying. That's why I'm glad that you guys can come in here today, because people will be listening to it and they'll think, oh, that's all rubbish,
We're here to give
Yeah.
everyone a financial education.
Yeah, financial education.
That's what people don't get at school.
Yeah.
And so I suppose the new way of paying mortgages off,
Yeah.
if you do it right,
Yeah.
and this only works if you've got discipline.
Yes.
Because if you're using an offset account
Yes.
and you end up taking it out and go to the casino,
Yes.
it's not going to pay off your
or
mortgage quicker.
credit card
No,
buying,
obviously
buying.
not.
So you've got to have a little bit of discipline first.
Yes.
But if you've got the discipline, then you could easily, new way of doing it, you can cut your mortgage in half with the same payments.
Wow.
And the reason being...
that's a big difference for a lot of
it's a
people.
huge difference.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
see, a lot of people go principal interest,
Yep.
right? And
Yep. Put a commercial. Okay.
Yep.
Keep going.
a lot of people play principal and interest, and
Yes.
basically, when you're doing principal and interest, I
Yep.
mean, out of 25-year loan, how much principal do you think you pay off in the first 10 years?
Yeah, very little.
Very little.
Very, very little.
Very little. And it takes all your cash flow.
Yep.
So it makes your lifestyle difficult. So I from early on, I saw when I had properties that were negative geared,
Yep.
I was paying principal and interest. I was working 7 days a week.
Okay. What we'll do, we'll just take a commercial break
Yep.
and we'll play some songs and we'll come straight back to you. Thanks. Don't go away. Thank
Tasty
you.
Tuesdays. Music, news, current affairs. offerte della settimana sono Australia Cheese Brie 3 per $6, wafer 3 Marie da 140 grammi $1,99, tonno il tonnotto da 200 grammi $4,99, farina Special White sacco da 12,5 kg $14,99. Glenburg Gourmet vi aspetta al 143 Glenburg Road, Fair.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I tempi cambiano e tutto brucia veloce, i tempi cambiano ad alta voce e ti confondono mentre fai finta di niente, ti cambiano per sempre. I tempi cambiano nel tempo di una canzone, i tempi cambiano e il mondo è in agitazione e i venti portano un rullo di...
Okay, we're on air. So, George, we'll come back to you because we were talking about the type of mortgages that people have, like a 30-year mortgage, is
Yes.
a 25, 30-year mortgage. And a lot of them are, like you said, principal and interest, where you pay off the interest for half the loan and then the rest of it you start paying off to the principal.
The principal, that's right.
I don't know why. Unfortunately, I think that's sort of like illegal. You know, if you borrow money from somebody, you're supposed to pay them interest and part of the capital.
Yes.
But they want more the interest up front.
We've got the 4 richest banks in the world.
Yes, yes.
For a reason. They're very
Yes.
smart.
Yeah.
So there is ways around it.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way around it is by getting an offset account.
All right. So just explain, like a lot of people say offset, but can you explain that in lay terms, what an offset account
So basically, let's say you owe $500,000 to the bank.
Right.
You're paying interest.
You have to listen to this, George, because you're going to buy a house in Australia. This is the way to pay it off very fast. And even if you live overseas, it doesn't matter. You can buy lots of properties here before you go. All right? Okay.
I thought his Italian was very good.
No, he is Italian. Yeah.
Yeah, we recently went to Italy for our honeymoon.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
What a beautiful
It's a
place.
great experience.
I love Italy. The Italians are beautiful people.
Yeah,
They're
some
very
of them.
passionate. They're very passionate. The food is amazing.
Yeah.
They're very scary when it comes to driving.
Yeah, yeah.
The taxi drivers there in
that's all right.
Rome.
I've driven in Rome, so don't
You
worry.
have? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So with an offset account, if you've got a property, if you've got a loan for $500,000 and you've got an offset account of $100,000 in it,
right,
you're only paying interest on $400,000.
Right.
So that's saving you your interest. And saving money is like making money as well.
Yep. So what happens is then, to explain it very simply, you have to open, you have a loan that you pay the interest to the bank.
Yep.
And then you have a part of that which is a separate account or part of that account.
It's like a savings account.
It's like a saving account within your bank.
Yes, but instead of getting paid interest, you're saving interest.
Yes. So in other words, if you've got money in there, that means that you owe like $300,000 to the bank. If you've got $50,000 in that account, it looks like you only owe them. They calculate interest on $250.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
Yes.
So as you take the money, that $50,000 is yours. You can have it and use it any time.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is to leave it there and put more money into that account at the bottom.
Yes.
So you've got like 2 accounts, one on top of each other, is a simple way of explaining it. You've got an interest account and then you've got a saving account.
That's right.
And then what they calculate the interest that you owe them on that amount that's owing on the interest. On the difference.
Yes.
So the more money you put into that account, the less you owe in interest.
Yes.
That's basically, and that pays itself off.
That's basically the way it works. However, there's a few finer details.
There always is.
And it's very hard to explain over radio.
Yes, I
how
realise.
it works.
You need to see a picture. You need to see it in a book or whatever. So that's why. Where can they get your book from, or is it pictures?
Okay.
I mean, is that in your book? Is that diagrams in your book?
Look, I've actually I've got in my book. I've written exactly how to do this.
Yes.
And because the diagrams is very good.
Yes.
We also I've got a webinar which actually through video shows you how it's done.
Okay.
So the best idea, if anyone wants to have a look, is to just Google George Markoski Positive Property.
Okay.
And if they go on our website, they can download the book and go to the webinar, and that will teach you how it's done.
Let's say that really slowly. Let's say that really slowly. So it's George Markoski.
Markoski, Markoski.
Yep. They can always do that.
And Positive Property.
Ring me and I'll ring the station. I'll give them the details anyway.
Yep.
So get in touch with me and I'll give them the details. And you look up Positive Properties.
Solution Australia.
Okay, Positive Property Solution Australia, and that'll pop up on your searches.
If you type in George Markoski, that will pop up
yes.
anyway.
Okay, that's good.
Now the thing is, the important part about this is, if you're going to invest in property, the most important thing you need to do is get educated.
Yes, that's the thing that Christina was saying before. This is the stuff we just don't learn anywhere else.
Yeah, you need to really get a modern-day financial education, and that's what it's all about. Learning the difference between, we used to leave investing and those sorts of things up to the big banks and the big corporates, but we can't rely on them anymore. We've got to rely on ourselves and educate ourselves, because we've got to take control of our own destiny.
But I can guarantee one thing. A lot of people I spoke to, when I used to do insurance and financial planning for people, I went in there and I said, do you know what your mortgage is? Do you know how much? No, not really. He did it. No, I don't know. The bank manager did it.
Yeah.
And when they just trusted the bank managers at that time, and then they started doing, the people that organised the loans officers and different names they gave them, and a lot of people have no idea.
No, they
don't. They really, really do not understand it, and more importantly, don't even know what questions to ask.
Yep.
So, I'm like that.
Totally.
I'm one of those people. I don't know what questions to ask. I say, you tell me what I need to know.
Yeah.
And if you don't tell me, I don't know. And where else can we learn this stuff? Except for, how many people do you know that are multimillionaires who are ready to share this idea?
Yeah, unfortunately, not a lot of them share it. That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing is, a lot of them, not only that they don't share it, they don't know how to.
They don't know how to, exactly.
They don't know how to present it. They don't know. They don't want to. They haven't got time to do a seminar for $1,000 where they're getting $1,000 an hour.
Yep.
They won't sit around and do that. They just won't.
Totally.
So that's why I appreciate the fact that you are doing these things and you're available to do these things and you're available to help. And like Christina said, she works with the clients as well. So that's fantastic advice. So we'll come straight back to that. We'll do another commercial break. Okay. All right, thank you. So we're back now, and we've had a couple of phone calls, and phone calls in every office at the moment.
Yes,
so thank you very much for the people that have rang up. Really appreciate it. We will also be available, so we'll get the number for George and Christina here. But let me explain to you exactly what it is you do, because a couple of people have said it. What is it exactly you do?
Yes.
So you run a course, and tell us what the course is actually about. The people that come to the course, what will they learn from you?
Okay, great question. Now,
because this is important for everybody to understand, not only what you're telling them, how they can pay their mortgages off, or this account or that account or whatever, but what does they actually learn from doing the course?
Yes, great question, excellent question. So, basically, to give it to you in a nutshell, basically, when you're investing, it's like a little stool. So, property investing, you need 3 different pillars to be a successful property investor. Because what happens is, when you invest in a property and you don't have the fundamentals right, when the weather's good and everything's fine, you can make good money no matter what you do, right?
Okay.
But once it gets a bit stormy, like for example back in 2008 during the GFC,
yes,
a lot of people lost money in property.
Yes.
But nothing happened to me. My properties were fine, and I had 10 properties there.
Yep.
And the reason being, these are the 3 pillars. One is you need the right strategy.
Yep.
2, you need to have growth, capital growth, and 3rd is cash flow.
Yes.
When you have those 3 pillars, that means that you're going to make money no matter what happens to the economy, whether it goes up or down, and keeps you safe.
So basically what you're doing, the people listening out there want to know, and the ones that have rang in want to know exactly what do they get from you.
Okay,
and
so
you're going to teach them how to get like the cash flow right, how to get the right investment, and how to get those 3 pillars that you said.
Yep. So what we do is we have the 3 pillars. We're teaching people basically how to invest in property for around $30 to $50 a week out of your pocket. That's it.
Okay.
Because if anything's more than $50 a week, I'm not interested.
Okay.
And what we're doing is helping people convert their tax dollars into property. Most of our clients, our members, they're getting between $85 to $300 a week back from their tax.
Okay, so basically...
And this is a little known loophole from the ATO.
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't use.
Yeah, so basically what you're able to help people with, if they're making an income of, say, 40, 50,000 above 50,000, you can help them to buy a property and save a lot of money on their tax.
Yes, because we're using the tax dollars and putting it into property.
So you're showing them how to and pay that off in a much shorter period of time.
That's right.
So that's the most important thing. So you're by coming to do one of the courses that you do, they will get a property, right? And then they'll learn how to buy more properties every year, and they'll also learn how to rearrange their loans and their mortgages so that they're short term paid off rather than pay them off for the next 30 years. You'll be able to show them how to put an offset account in place.
Yep. A lot of times we help with their cash flow. So we have sometimes people coming in and they've got an investment property and they're losing $300 a week. And what we do is rejig things.
Yes.
And from losing 300, they're positive 50.
Yes.
And that's just a matter of the structure. Because when you've got the right structure, you create more money and more freedom.
Well, this
and
is what
more money and freedom gives you more meaning.
That's what we were talking about
That's
before.
what it's all about.
That a lot of people went to their bank or went to their loan officer, and the loan officer organised their loans, and they don't understand really what it is.
They don't know how to do it, and also they're not incentivised. I mean, the bank doesn't want to help you pay off your mortgage quicker and pay them less money.
Yes, well, that's the point. I mean, unfortunately, that's just it. Like the lady that Christina, you were just talking to, so thank you very much again for calling in, and she said some wonderful things about the show, so I really appreciate that, because I'm here every week, and happy business is about being happy in the business that you're doing, being happy at work and going to work being happy, and also about people themselves being happy. And one of the ways to try and help people to be happy is obviously to make sure that they can pay off their homes quicker, they can pay off their mortgages quicker, and have more money in their household. And by doing that, it's all about being happy. The big umbrella is about laughter and laughter therapy and being happy doing it. That's why I invited you guys in, because I've been watching you on Facebook. I've been seeing what you've been doing. I came down to listen to your course, and I'm interested in myself, but also in helping others, and that's what this is about. So I really want to help others. I really want people to ring in and find out more about it.
Peter, I know you're very passionate about helping people, and I love that, because I've known you for 20 years now, I reckon.
Time. Yeah,
so it's been a long time. So I think it's once you got financial freedom, it gives you more meaning. And I was very fortunate. When I retired, I was able to pay off my parents' home.
Yes.
And then
what a pleasure that would be.
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
And
I mean, just think out there now. There's 20, 30-year-old people, not male or female, because like Christina's only 16, and
just got my license last week.
That's right.
Yep.
I got to make her laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is that at a very early age, you get involved in this. Most people. Not until 40, 50 or 60 years of age, and they think, oh my God, I've got to retire. How am I going to live?
Exactly.
So it's funny you say that, Peter, because the average superannuation only lasts 6 years after retirement.
Look, I know. I mean, I used to sell life insurance, superannuation and business. That was my business, And I realised early in my piece that wasn't going to be enough for most people to retire on. And those that thought they were going to have $1 million, by the time the tax changed and the rest of it, they got $500,000.
That's right. 98% of people retire broke.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That is an incredible amount of people. So what we need to do, we need to get people to listen to this and try and understand it, or at least say, look, I want to learn more about it. Give us a call, and then we'll be able to help you by giving on your number and coming along to the classes and the courses. And I know the course is not expensive. It's not like hundreds of thousands of dollars,
No, look, I'm trying to provide as much information as I can to people.
Yeah.
And also, so we do workshops and webinars.
Yep.
And that's a good place to start. And,
Yep.
and they're usually free.
Yep.
Or a nominal amount.
Yeah, nominal amount. That's right. Yep. I mean, look, you can't... some people don't realise the value of knowledge.
Knowledge is very
you
important.
can never buy enough knowledge, And the point is that, like all these top multimillionaires, and I read their books and I hear their things, and they always say, get with somebody who's better than you, and you'll become as good as them, or to get better, you've got to be with people better than you.
Totally.
And then, of course, the other thing is you employ somebody who knows more than you, and you do what they tell them to.
Exactly.
They don't do what you tell them to, you do what they tell you to.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest problem. A lot of businesses, they will employ somebody who's better than them, and then they tell them what to do instead of doing what they, the other way around. So if you're going to employ a good accountant, do what the accountant tells you to. If you're going to get legal advice, do what the lawyer tells you to. Don't try and tell the lawyer what to do, because it's not going to work.
Exactly. And I think with property investing, you don't want to be a pioneer.
Yeah.
Because back in the old days, you saw the pioneers. They're the ones with all the arrows in their back. Exactly. You want to follow a tried and tested process and follow someone that's already done it before you.
That's right. That's why I asked you to come in here, because I said that I know that I've seen you guys do what you're doing and doing it well and continuously. That's the other thing, because some people do it for a short period of time and say, oh, no, I don't do that anymore. And the reason why, because they got their hands burnt.
Yep,
they got caught with too much property or not enough income, or, try to get greedy or try and do it too fast, or bought in the wrong area.
Yep. You got to take your time and do it properly.
Yeah. So let me ask you the next question. So, if I came to you, or these people now that we've had, phone calls or whatever, come to you, what are you going to be able to help them with? Like, where do they buy the property? Do you buy the property? Are you a real estate agent? Are you going to help them to organise a loan? I mean, do you do that? So
Okay.
I've got 100 questions. Let me ask.
Great question. Okay. So the first step, what we do with people is we get them along to one of our workshops or webinars and educate them about what we do.
Right.
And then after that, they have a meeting with one of our coaches. Here in Adelaide, Christina's our head property coach.
Right.
And she knows my stuff really well. She's really excellent at what
That's
she does.
why I asked her in, because she's the one that I want to talk to, not you anymore.
She's excellent. Basically, if we're a good fit, because we check if we're a good fit and see if we can do, if they've got the same goals and if we can do the right thing.
Yeah.
And if they're a good fit, then they can choose to join our mentorship program.
Right.
Where what we do is we hold their hand.
Yep.
And take them through the whole process while teaching them at the same time.
Okay.
So what happens is you actually actively buy a property while someone's teaching you how to do it, but you're actually doing it all yourself.
Okay. So are the properties like local properties, or do you buy properties interstate as well, or where do you get your properties from?
Okay, so I've
Just
got
to give them an
a
idea.
few select developers that I'll deal with.
Right.
That I've dealt with for a long time.
Right.
And basically, we buy Australia-wide.
Okay.
It all depending on your income, your tax, your growth, your goals, or what you want to do.
And your overall goals. Okay.
Yeah, so, like, for example, I wouldn't be buying Sydney at the moment.
Right.
Because Sydney, if you're familiar with the property cost, Sydney's at 11 o'clock at the moment.
It's
and
way over
some price, and some of them going down, but also if you buy property in Sydney, it's going to cost you $300 a week on top of the rent.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that. We only want to spend $30 to $50.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So if I was come to you and I say, look, I want to buy a property, you were saying the developers. So developers, to me, trigger like new homes. So you don't buy old homes, you don't buy second-hand homes.
So if you're paying tax and you're not buying a new home, you're missing out all your tax deductions. Because what happened was last May, about a year ago, just over a year ago, the government changed the laws.
Okay.
So since then, we had to sort of rejig what we do.
Right.
So what happens if you buy a property and you own it and you buy it second-hand, even if it's 1 day old, and you're the second owner, you get no depreciation on fixtures and fittings.
Okay.
So that really reduces the amount of money you get back.
All right.
Because on an average home, you can get up to $80,000.
So these
tax
guys,
tax depreciation in 10 years.
See what's happening out there. All the nonnos and nonnas and are saying to their nephews and nieces, "Hey, go and buy a property. Go and buy a property."
Yep, which is a good idea.
Yeah,
Great
and
idea.
then the fathers and mothers say, "Yeah, go and buy the property. Look, there's a house around the corner here. Buy this one. Then you're near our mum and dad. Go and buy this one or go and buy that one." So really, what they should be looking for, because if they buy that property around the corner and just rent it out, that's all they're going to get is a rent.
The problem is it's going to be negative geared.
Yes.
Right? And the challenge is they may not be buying at a 7 o'clock market and they may miss out on the growth.
Yes.
Because if you buy...
That's the important part, because the fact is...
The growth's the most important part.
Yeah, we want to explain to people that if you buy the house around the corner, you might get it at a good price because a little old lady knows you and so wants to sell it to you or whatever. But you don't get any tax appreciation on it.
Yes.
And that's where it comes down to the strategy and having the right strategy.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's one of the key pillars to
where
invest
you buy is very important.
Yes.
Like, see, I don't go to mining towns or boom towns or anything like that because it's so risky.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
I'm very conservative, and you have to have a look at the demand-supply ratio. There's 16,000 suburbs in Australia.
Yes.
And there's about 40 different statistics per suburb.
Right.
So what I do is I've got a spreadsheet of every stat in every suburb.
Right.
So then I've got a number to see how good a property is in regards to supply and demand ratio. Because what you want is a lot of demand, a little bit of supply.
Yep.
Not the other way around.
Yeah, obviously.
And unfortunately, most people get that wrong.
So the other thing you said that I just want to bring it back. So if people buy a house that's like so many years old, there's no appreciation. If they buy a house like a new house, you can get a lot of appreciation.
Yep, depreciation.
And depreciation, right. And the fact is that I remember seeing some figures as well, and you showed some the other evening about that on a house of like 19 whatever, you get very little.
On a house built 1985, you're going to get zero.
All right. So before 1985, you get virtually no depreciation on it at all, zero.
Even a house built in 2001, you're going to get maybe $1,000.
So as late as 2001, you're only going to get $1,000. But if it's a new house,
you can get 10, 20 grand.
Between 10 and 20 grand
for the first year.
For the first year of depreciation.
So probably around about 10,000.
That's a huge amount of difference.
Well, it is because with depreciation, this is the key. You actually can lose money on paper, but not in real life.
Yes.
So and if you could lose money on paper instead of real life to get a tax deduction,
that's
the best way to do it. You don't want to really lose money.
I think people, I've been speaking to people as well, and they don't appreciate that tax deduction. And I wasn't sure of the dates, and I wasn't sure the difference between a new home. I thought it was better than that. I thought, but I realise now what the figures you said, that from 2001, you only get like $1,000 odd depreciation. But if it's a brand new house that you buy, then you can depreciate, $10,000 a year, or up to about $10,000 to $20,000 a year.
That's right.
In the first couple of years.
Depending on the price of the house.
Yeah, depending on the price of the house.
And the fixtures and fittings.
But that makes a big difference. I mean, that makes a big difference. That means that instead of buying a house for $300,000, you can buy a $400,000 home. And get that money back straight away.
Well, exactly.
In the first couple of years.
The beautiful part about it is once you start getting per house $80 to $120, $150 a week back from your tax.
Yes.
And I'm talking back in your pay packet every week, not waiting till the end of the year.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference to your
cash flow because
and cash flow is one of the pillars. Remember how we spoke about the pillars?
Yes.
So you got growth, which is very important.
Yep.
But cash flows are important to get the growth.
Yes.
Because you don't want to kill yourself working.
Well, that's what happens. A lot of people say, I couldn't afford, I bought one house, bought two houses, and I can't afford any more. Because all their money is going in to pay for the mortgages.
Yes.
That comes back to the strategy.
Wrong strategy.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Setting it up correctly.
So, Christina, is that what you do with people? You talk to them about the strategy of how their loans are arranged and...
Yeah, definitely. Helping people sort out the right strategy is one of the first things we do, and seeing where people are exactly at. So working out the situation they're in and then educating them about setting up the offset account correctly and speaking to the right financial advisors to do that and the right mortgage managers.
Yes, I totally agree. So what happens is a lot of people, they buy a house quickly and then do a lot of work to try to fix their problems. What we like to do is put a lot of work at the beginning, get it right, and then once you get it right, I spend less than 10 minutes a week on my properties, and I've got over 14.
Yeah. But see, this is it. I just had somebody... just on the weekend, by the way, I was speaking to somebody and they were saying how they bought this house, it was really cheap, around the corner. Then they realised that they needed to do a lot more work to it than they thought. And then they wanted, the guy decided that he'd knock down the whole back of the house and extend it out to make it like a big kitchen, dining, lounge room and the rest of it. And I said, are you serious? He said, oh, well, eveventually I might live there. So I did it now. And I said, that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
He spent he bought the house and he spent another $100,000 on it to do it up.
Wow.
And he's not even going to live in it. He's going to rent it out now.
That's where he's not clear on its purpose either.
The thing is, he has no benefit for tax because it's not a new house. It's an old house with an extension on it.
Well, with the extension, you can actually depreciate that.
I appreciate that.
But
I
it's
mean,
not a lot. No, it's
he
not a
could
lot.
have. He could have gone just around the corner from his place and bought like I said, a $400,000 home that's just been finished, a unit or something like that, instead of this smaller home that he paid $300,000 for and not getting any of the benefits.
Yep. I don't really like units very much.
Yeah, but
I'm more into houses and townhouses.
Yeah, townhouses. In the Campbelltown area, for example, there's lots and lots of townhouses going up there.
Heaps.
And in some areas, St Mary's and different areas around town, they're knocking them out, building 2 and 3 on the same allotments, and some of them are on a corner block. You can build 3, some you only got 2, but some of them are double story, some of them are ground levels. But anyway, look, we'll come back. We'll have to do a commercial break here. Joyce is here saying we need a break.
Radio Italia 1.
Okay, what I'd like to ask you, Christina, because this part of the business, I know that you and George are married, but in this partnership, you work well together as well, long before you were married. So the point is that now you organise all these finances and stuff like that as well, don't you?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If somebody comes to you, like I said, and they want to do buy a house, like somebody says, hey, go and buy the house around the corner, or go and buy this, and buy a house, everybody.
Yeah. So first we
Italian
focus
families,
on more or less the education behind why the house in your own backyard might not necessarily make the best investment property.
Yes.
So it's understanding the difference between the numbers on that property versus a property that's at the right space and the right time on the property clock and in the right area.
Yes.
So looking at the numbers logically, not emotionally, and comparing that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like it's a difference between buying a house to live in yourself and a house you're going to use as an investment. And one of the biggest lessons I learned a long time ago, which is just as well, was don't get personally involved with the property. Don't get emotional
that's exactly
with the
right,
property.
Peter.
This is an investment property.
We're using property as the vehicle for wealth creation.
Yes.
And it needs to have one purpose. It's purely there
That's
for wealth
right.
creation.
It's all about the numbers. You look at the numbers. Is it less than $50 a week? Is it going to go up in value? Great.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that we want to know.
Yeah, definitely.
But the other thing we were talking about, obviously we keep talking while the radio's playing or while the
fun
music's
doesn't
playing.
stop.
No, not in the
It keeps
studio.
on rolling around here.
In the studio, yeah. So I think that's great, because the thing that you mentioned, which I want the listeners to hear, was the fact is that you're a one-stop shop. They can come to you.
So basically
they
what
come
we
to
do
you for advice and all that.
It's like a done-for-you system. So
That's important
it's
to know.
really good for people who are time poor and who just don't have the time to...
Or don't have the education. This is
or the
important.
education,
right.
or the
That's
knowledge.
This is the important.
To be able to do it themselves.
They don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what they don't know.
True.
But
Exactly.
a lot of people know that they don't know much about property, therefore they don't go into it. Or they think that they don't have enough money, where by talking to you and George, they could find out that they could afford 20,
Exactly.
30, 40 or $50 a week.
Peter, there's so many people that have joined our program, and then a year later they've got 2 properties, and they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't think I could buy one." You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's why I'm encouraging people.
People need to.
That's why
people owe it to themselves to find out if they can or can't do this.
If it's possible.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly
Because
right.
it's not always possible.
Yeah.
But you need to check it out and see if you can.
Definitely.
Though.
Yeah, and the thing that Christina said, I think is very, very important, and we've got to reiterate over and over again.
Yep.
It's about finding an investment property. It's about finding a cash flow property. It's about finding property that you can actually use as wealth creation.
That's right.
Yes.
It's not a holiday home. You can't
Yeah.
go and live in it later. It's purely, you have to separate that idea from
You
the
can if you
investment
really
idea.
want to.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, that's just it. Some people buy a caravan and leave it there.
Yep.
A $50,000 caravan just sitting in the driveway, and then they have to buy another $20,000 carport to put over it, so to protect it.
You could have bought a house.
You could have bought a house, or you could have bought. You put that amount of money in a bank account, that'll pay for a holiday overseas every year.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You could have gone to a caravan destination and just hire a can on site without having to tow it, and all the dangers of doing that. So it's important to keep. I'll keep coming back to you, Christina, because you are do it for you,
done for you
system.
Yeah.
So in other words,
Talking about the holidays, part of our mortgage reduction
Yeah.
is we use a credit card system.
Yes.
And we get a free 1 or 2 free holidays every year.
Yes.
Paying off our mortgage and paying 0 interest on our credit card.
Yep.
And this year we're going to South America.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Great.
And all it's doing is it's flowing through that offset account. So the way you've got the money flowing through cuts down your mortgage a lot quicker.
I'm going to Machu Picchu soon.
Really, we're going to Machu Picchu this year.
Oh, this coming year or
Yes.
now?
We're leaving in December.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
We're doing Galapagos Islands,
Yep.
Machu Picchu.
Excellent. And just listen to this. You're doing all that on a free interest that you've got from your MasterCards.
Well, frequent flyers.
yeah,
Frequent flyers and all
that
that
you
sort
collect
Yeah,
from paying your bills
by
on your
using
credit card.
you get your money in your offset account longer.
Yes.
And then you get
And
frequent
this
flyers.
is, look, you guys out there, you've got to listen to this. You've got to be, somebody's got to switch on and
You've
say,
got to
okay.
work smarter, not harder.
Much smarter, much than harder, and you've got to be educated. So the point is, if you don't have this information yourself and you don't know it, it's going to take you years and years and years to learn it.
Oh, yeah.
Why not just go to somebody like George and Christina who do have it?
Get the
They know-
shortcuts.
Get the shortcuts. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Look, I did it the hard way.
Yeah.
George was the pioneer.
I'm the pioneer. Now you get the shortcut the easy way.
I can see he's been scalped, I can see he's been arrows in his back. They cut on his neck and chopped his head off, and but you don't have to do that anymore. That's why I love doing this program. That's why I love, the people that ring me up and tell me great things. I mean, it's not my ego. It's about, thank you. I thank God that I'm able to help. Like you said, I am passionate about helping people.
You are. That's
I'm
beautiful.
passionate about helping people. I want people to be happier. I want people to live a better life. I want them, and there's no reason why we can't. It's just that we don't know how.
I know.
My father taught me so many wonderful things, but unfortunately, he couldn't teach me anything about finance.
Yeah,
right. He just didn't know it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in Australia, I don't have any other relatives. All my relatives are back in Italy. So when I go back there, I've seen that they bought property and they've done this and they've done that, and they've prospered as well. I mean, my brother's doing very well. My other brother's doing very well. The people around us are improving. But if we'd known that, even 20 years ago, I would have made a difference to my life.
Yeah.
Like everybody says, if I knew then what I know now. I mean, there are people here that can't read, can't write, but knew that secret of property.
Peter, it comes back to that old saying, when was the best time to buy a property? 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When's the next best time?
Now.
Right now.
That's right. Yeah, now. But because these are the good old days of tomorrow.
Exactly. But the thing is, my goal personally is to create 500 property millionaires.
Yep.
Because I think if you help people create wealth, then they're going to make the world a better place.
Yeah, to help you guys and help George and Christina make these 500 plus millionaires.
Beautiful.
I mean, I really am. I mean, I'd love to see the fact that, 10 years down the track, somebody says to me, if it wasn't for that, hearing George and Christina, I would now have 12 properties.
Yep.
And look, it's possible. It's so possible. So we can help you. So please, we got 5-10 minutes left on the studio here. George, the other thing is that you buy properties interstate. I mean,
I buy. What I do is I spread them out all around Australia.
Yep.
Because what's happening at the moment, for example, my properties in Perth are going down.
Right.
My properties in Adelaide are staying still.
Yep.
My properties in Queensland are going up.
Right.
So the more you spread out your properties, the safer it is.
Okay, it gives you balance.
Risk
Good.
diversification.
Yeah. You never buy in the same area twice.
Yes.
You just got to spread them out.
Yes.
Very important.
Okay. So the other thing is that, is there a special time? I mean, I know you tell people this, but I'm saying, is there a special time to buy a property, or is a certain time of the year better than another time of the year?
The time of year is not that important, but what's important is you've got to find out what suburb is doing what at what time. So out of these 16,000 suburbs, I get all the numbers, I crunch them, and then I'll look at the stats and see what's going to go up.
Yep.
And usually by doing this, you can do a little bit better than the market.
Yep, that's
and
the
if
thing.
you do a little bit better than the market, it's great. But even if you do what the market does, which is 5 to 7%, you're still going to double your property in 10 years.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it.
That's the important part, because the fact is, like you said, there is a property clock.
Yes.
And each district, each town, each state has their own different property clocks.
Yes, and you don't want to buy at 12. You want to buy at 7 o'clock.
Yep. Okay. So basically, what happens is they don't need, or your listeners now don't need to know all this information straight away. They come to you and say, look, I want to buy this thing. What do I do? And Christina's going to take you by the hand, and
She's
George
guide them through,
and George and Christina are going to guide you through step by step, like you say, a done for you process that they will be able to do that over a period of time.
Well, a lot of the times, because I'm buying 2 or 3 every year.
Yeah.
So a lot of times our members buy where I'm buying, which makes a lot of sense because I've already done the work for them.
Fair enough. I mean, if you've done the research and you're buying a house, I'll buy the one next door. Makes sense to me.
Makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
So all I do is copycat.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just it. It's not that hard. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent something.
No, copycat is exactly what it is. See, in school, you get in trouble for copying.
Yep.
And collaborating.
Yep.
But really, in real life, collaborating and copying is what you really want to do.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, we don't need to reinvent anything.
Just do what works.
Yeah, and if it's working for you, it can work for me. Just put the money in. That's it.
Absolutely.
So what happens also is that we need to look at different states, or we need to look at different districts, or the north side of town, or if we're in Adelaide, whether it's southern side of town, the northern side of town, the east or the west or whatever. But you guys have this research all the time.
Yep.
So you already know what it is. You know.
We look at Australia as a whole.
I spend a lot of money on this research, and it's worthwhile.
Yep.
And I like to share it with people. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's what this is all about. So please don't forget, give us a call here at the studio. give me a call on my phone, on my mobile, and I will take your name and number and pass it on to George. Now, the course you're doing, when's the next course you're doing?
Okay, we've got a workshop on
I don't
Coming
know
up.
the specific
coming up
dates.
next month.
It's coming up
Okay.
next month.
Coming
We're
up.
going to be
Yep.
announcing it on our website very
Okay.
soon.
All right. So,
Also, if you want to check us out on Facebook, you
Yep.
can join the Positive Property Club.
Yep.
It's a closed group for our members and people that are looking at becoming our members.
Yep.
And
It's a great way of getting lots of information.
yes.
Yep,
I
send
go
us an
live
invite
every
and we'll get
week
you
and
in.
talk
Yep.
to everyone and show them what we're doing at the moment and the
Okay.
latest stuff that's working really, really well.
Excellent, excellent. And then, of course, the thing that they really need to understand is that if they don't know anything about property but they want to get involved in property, is to come and see you. Now, your book's available from Amazon?
Yep.
So-
Amazon.com, Freedom Through Property.
Right.
It's available there.
So it's called Freedom Through Property
Yep.
on Amazon. They can buy it through Amazon or give you a call. You'll send them a copy or
Yeah,
whatever.
they call Christina.
You know.
She'll be able to send them a copy.
No worries. Okay.
Excellent.
And is there anything else you wanted to add? Because we've got to go now and we're going to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, apart from check out the Facebook group, that's Positive Property Club on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, just invite yourself and we'll get you into the club.
Excellent.
What I'd like to add, mi chiamo Giorgio. Quanti anni hai? Come stai? Arrivederci.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Grazie a tutti.
Ciao. Thank you so much for
Grazie a
having
tutti
us.
gli ascoltatori. Oh, we're still on. Okay. Thank you very much to all the listeners. Thank you very much for the phone calls. I really appreciate it. We've had 3 phones going at once here a little while ago.
It's been crazy.
So it's been great. It's been fantastic. So thank you very much. And I'll see you next week, same time, 2 till 3. Ciao. Arrivederci.
Ciao.
Thank you, Joyce.
Lo sai, non è vero che non